And we're back. Here we are for the final hour of trading. Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's Tuesday, October the 18th, 2022, our last 60 minutes together for the day. What is going to happen here? We backed off quite a bit from the highs of the day, certainly on the indexes. The Dow Jones is only up 0.79 of a percentage point after being up over 2% early today, right off the bat. The high for the Dow, 30,837. We're at 30,419 now. So 400 and about 26 points lower than where we were at one time. We started very high. We dropped down around 1145 to the low of the day, 30,301, about 114 points lower than this. Did a rally and tried to come back, but couldn't do it. Got to 30,600 and ran out of fuel, and now we're at 30,421. So 180-point pullback from our little recovery, which topped out between around 1:30 to 2:30 this afternoon, and now down we go, and we're at the moment at 30,410, down up 224 total points. The culprit, in one way, a culprit, maybe Apple. Apple, very interestingly, was kind of just moving along here around 145, 145, 120, 145.25, 145.30, $145 for several hours. We had been in this 145 neighborhood. Even this morning, we were as high as 146.70, but we got down to 143, back up to 145, and all of a sudden, right at around 2:34 in the afternoon, 2:35, it began a complete depreciation, and from 2:35 until 2:47, in 12 minutes, stock went from 145.18, 145.22 to 140.78, just a straight down cliff. A pretty serious drop there. I don't have the answer. 140.72, 140.62 actually is the low of the day, and that's what we touched right there. That's not quite $5 a share. We've come back just a bit to 142.29, but have not brought it back to the $3+ gain we were running at all day today on this stock. So somebody said something. I'm going to guess that there was an article that came out. It seemed to have been published in Barron's, something about the what to look out for in Apple's earnings. And it could have been that someone said something about what the earnings, what to look out for if things don't, work out properly. I don't know. Maybe that caused a bit of consternation. We'll see if that has much to do with it. Okay. Anyway, that's what I've got. That's all I've got on that one. I can't give you more. If I could, I would, but I can't. GameStop has also done a bit of a dip here, just around this. Looks like around what was this timing? 2:35. Yeah, something happened in the market at 2:35 because GameStop also took a dip. It had been as high as 27.30 or so. Not at its high of the day, but 40 cents away. Now it's at 26.60. It's given up some gas here. And so maybe a number of issues are caught in this whole thing. The Amazon market was as high as 116.90. And at 2:35, we were at 116.50. Now 115.45. It's backed off. Let's see, who else? HBQ lost like 20 cents. Anybody else have a dip here? See anybody big? Pfizer dipped a little bit. Boeing dipped. It's down 7 cents now. Pfizer's still up 47. Cisco backed off. It's still up 23 cents, but Cisco was at 41.89. It's now 41.50. It's not like they've really had a bad drop like Apple did. Apple was a notable casualty there. Yeah. no other evidence of anybody else really doing the same thing. So maybe Apple was the catalyst and others dropped in sympathy. Maybe that's what happened in this market. We're up 210 on the Dow. Again, we're weakening here, 0.68 of a percentage point higher. The S&P is up only 21. It was up like 70, 80 points this morning. It's up 0.58. NASDAQ is only up a fifth of a point, 0.2%. It's lost 90% of its gains. It was as high as 200 something, or it was up 2+%. It's only up 0.2 of a percentage point over on the NASDAQ. So we definitely have got weakness. Now, oil has really backed off. $2.71 a barrel here, down 3.1% to $82.75. Speculation has been, it's a decrease of demand. The demand is dropping. And now it's, the strategic reserve is going to be tapped again by the U.S. to keep flooding the market with oil. Maybe that's what it is. A combination of the two, profit-taking, shorting. Shorters are coming in going, no, we don't believe this is going to 150 at all. It's not going to go 120. It's not going to 100 a barrel. We're going to short this stuff. It could be all of the above. But we are off 272 a barrel at the moment. All right. Apple cut production of the iPhone 14, says Michael. Maybe that did it. There's that. There's also talk about, I think on Apple, others talk was something about Mac book sales, like Mac computer sales were off, and there's that. And not and Bloomberg here, a guy who's saying Bloomberg claiming they're cutting production of the iPhone. Lots of talk about what's happening at Apple and what's going on. It's pure speculation. It's some industry insiders trying to gauge, well, if there aren't very many orders for these kinds of chips, that means Apple isn't buying as many as normal. Maybe the supply chain is full of Apple product. I don't know, but people are selling first and asking questions later, and that's really the attitude of this market. Apple down 49 cents now on the day after being up as much as $4. Tesla is actually off now, down 89 cents to 218.46. It too has backed off from whatever gain it had. We're looking at GameStop only up 61 cents now. SoFi at 524, up 16. HBQ down 24. Amazon only up $1.75. It's backed off as well. So that's what I see going on here in this session, with now 53 minutes left to go. Thank you for these thumbs ups, Untamed Viking and everybody else. Appreciate it. Rugman warned us there would be problems. Constantine, I was able to buy back my 2750 for December 16 at 415 for a good profit. I waited today and wrote the same call, but at 430. There you go. Let's see. Wing Commander, I am thumbs up 55. Nick, I am 56. No oil in France. Refineries on strike. That means there's oil sloshing around at sea or elsewhere, not coming into France because there's a domestic shutdown of the business. Fair enough. That is not a worldwide crisis. That is a country having its own labor turmoil with inflation. If there's one country where labor is unafraid to walk, it's France. French students are unafraid to go protesting. If you even think of raising tuition rates, workers will do they'll just do national strikes if there's talk about restrictions on retiree benefits or medical cutbacks. The population will just walk out on the street and immediately protest. In France, the reality there is the government is afraid of the people. The people walk on the streets and government is terrified. In Iran, it's the other way around. The people are terrified of the government because of what the government will do if you walk on the streets. And in Russia and elsewhere, the very brave are the ones out on the streets in some of these countries. Where in France, no one fears the government. The government is at the beck and call of the people because it's the people who are in charge. It's quite amazing how that actually works. And if you are ever in France and you know someone from France, you will find out, if you want to, just the social programs, how great they are, how fantastic the social programs are in France. But, there's a critic for every every optimist, and some say, well, yeah, but France pays high taxes, and the public goes, yeah, and you don't pay high taxes, or well, in France you don't have as many, you can't become a billionaire as easily, and are you a billionaire in your hometown? I don't think so. It's amazing. It's again one side of the argument, the other side of the argument, but. In France, refinery workers will walk, bus drivers will walk, subway workers will walk, airline workers will walk, pilots will walk. They'll just walk. If the employee is being mistreated or is being gouged, or they're not getting the raise they feel they deserve in the economy we have, they walk. They just walk, and that's it. And government is powerless to stop it. And the country goes, we're behind labor. We're behind the labor movement. We're not behind the top end guys. We don't care about those guys. Very fascinating. You're telling me this people not using oil doesn't affect the price? Not saying that. Not saying that. I'm saying if oil is not coming into France because the refineries aren't accepting it, there's oil everywhere looking for a place to go. France uses a lot of oil. Germany uses a lot of oil. Spain uses a lot of oil. When you have a country of 62 million not utilizing their oil deliveries, what do? You're the guy delivering oil to these guys. There's a backup here, and that will affect the price. Absolutely, perhaps temporarily. What are we going to do? It's true though. French people do not accept BS from politicians. No way. All righty. Sell my house in Marble. We don't pay 60-70% in taxes. Well, neither do the French. The poor in France don't pay any taxes. The very wealthy pay more. The middle class do quite well. That's just the way it is. Let's see. By the way, I wrote December 16 $30 GameStop calls for $355. Beautiful, beautiful job. Sorry for the question from a lurker, but should we consider buying bonds or bond funds? No, I wouldn't. I think bonds are still under pressure and are going to stay under pressure because we're going to go higher in rates. I don't think this 3/4 point rate hike coming in early November is the last one. We may not have 3/4 of a point every month anymore, but I could see another 2 percentage points being added to the rates after November for the next 3 to 6 months. Because I don't think the Fed is going to let the foot off the gas at all. They're going to keep it on there to stop inflation. What else? Yeah, it's a myth that French people pay more taxes in France. I live in California. I pay way more taxes than I ever paid in France. What else is going on? In France, they have a mindset like in the French Revolution of 1789. If something is wrong, they will tell you, and they don't take crap. There you go. That's right. Thanks for the bond answer. You got French middle class receive a lot of public services in exchange for French taxes. You get more for your money in France, and that is true. That is actually accurate. Mandatory holidays that are mandated, paid benefits, medical benefits, maternity leave, school, university. I mean, it goes on and on. The transportation system, the infrastructure. Yeah, it's public first. It's the citizens first, corporations last. And corporations they're being given the privilege to do business in France, not the right. It's the right of the citizen to be in charge of the country, not the politicians and not the corporations. Politicians are civil servants. Civil servants work for the people, and they're chosen by the people to work on their behalf. They don't tell the people how to act, what to believe, what to do. The civil servants are servants of the public. Otherwise, get out. Don't bother applying for the job. It's a whole different ballgame. The rest of the world has kind of gotten off track here with regard to civil servants and their job in society. But, it is what it is. There's a thing called freedom that apparently has become confused with the civil servants' jobs to look after the public, because that's what they were hired to do. But there's something freedom somehow has got in the middle of all this, and it makes no sense to most of us on the outside. But in France, yeah. Is it perfect? No. It is not. Nowhere is it perfect. Nowhere. That's the other thing we have to understand and agree with or accept. Folks, thank you for popping in here, seeing me. Those of you who are lurkers, I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button for me, lurkers, and let us know that you enjoy what we do. Appreciate you very much. Those of you who are members of this channel, cannot thank you enough for being members. The members of this channel are the ones keeping it on the air. And if you're a lurker and you enjoy the commentary, please think about becoming a member as well. I'd love to have you join the great family of commentators here. There's a whole bunch of us crazies here. We'd love to have you join us. There's always room for another one. Thank you all for hanging out with us. 73 thumbs ups now. Thank you guys. 15 minutes into the show. We're looking for 100 thumbs ups on the afternoon shows or more, and 26 more to go, and we've hit our three-digit objective. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button, everybody, and get us to 100 as fast as possible. Let's go beyond that. Show YouTube there should be more people coming to this channel, because we speak the truth, my friend. We speak the truth. We tell you what's going on. I do the best I can. I don't know. What else is going on? My 1 penny stinker on GameStop should be hitting any moment now, says Boo. JR, I'm number 75, buddy. I'm right there for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And RKLY is up 12%. What is RKLY? I have no idea what that is. You wouldn't be you're not like, yeah, you certainly didn't mix it up with Rocket Lab, did you? I have no idea what that is. All of a sudden, red plus the autumn weather has me thinking of tomato soup. Karen, in the U.S. corporations, military are first, people are last. Alex, hi all, number 77 here. Thank you, Alex, for popping in. Yeah, it seems that people in uniforms carrying weapons are number one. The public is their servants, and some civil service think they're God's answer to creation, and they're not. They're just salaried employees of the people. Then you have politicians who just think they're just the leaders of our morality, and they are not. These folks have no place at the top of the page at all. Crazy. And then, of course, you've got other people who think they have the right to tell you how to live your life, and they come from all kinds of genres. That ain't freedom as far as I'm concerned. From where I hear, well, guns are big in the U.S. That's true. Brian, number 83, thumbs up. Thank you. What can I say? It is what it is. The world is the way it is. We have to make the best of it, in the circumstances we are. And I thank you all for popping through here and seeing us. Now, thank you again to all of you who are members. Also, thanks to all of you who have been signing up for classes. Appreciate that. I hope you're finding them useful, and you're finding them entertaining, and you're finding them you're finding them very helpful in ways to write options on stocks and to make a whole bunch of money from this market. You gotta love this. This market is perfect for option writing. We were just down to the 200 mark on the Dow Jones. We were just under a 200-point gain on the Dow. We're still slumping here. Thank you for those of you who are taking classes, and also those of you who have been reaching out to me about getting together on one-on-ones. If you want to have a one-on-one session this Sunday, let me know. There are 3 slots available every Sunday, 10 in the morning, noon, and 2 in the afternoon, all Eastern time. So pick one of those and let me know what you want, and I'll see if I can reserve a spot for you. We'll go from there. Uncle Bruce, if companies rise lower than post a beat now, will we go lower if it's perceived as good news? Kareem, the markets have dropped already, as we know, from the beginning of the year, last year, late fall and the winter, all the way to where we were in June this year. And so a lot of stocks have really taken, a hit. Microsoft, for example, is off, at year-like lows, and others, Cisco and a bunch of other guys. Like Microsoft was as high as 349 this year, almost $350. It's now 237, hit 219 already. So it's at the low end of its scale. They laid off 1,000 people, they've announced again. So there's layoffs and they're not hiring. There's a hiring freeze. There are budgetary constraints going on at Microsoft that they don't want to talk about. They're going to have to release some of this information in their third quarter financials. They've already given us the warning that, we're not going to make as much money as we made last year at this point in time. The street wants to know, is it worse than that? Are you giving us the full story, or is it worse than that? That's what the street will react to when they release their financials. The quirkiness of the market, though, is when a company comes out and says, "Yeah, we're not making as much money as last year, but we're making more than we thought we were going to make about a month ago. We're a little better than that." The street rejoices. The worst is over. The worst is over. Short-sighted, stupid thinking. You can't think that way. We haven't even entered a recession yet in the U.S. We haven't entered one. We're leaning towards one, and we're headed towards one, but we're not into it yet, which tells me there will be more layoffs at Microsoft. There will be layoffs at Facebook. There could be hiring freezes across thousands of companies in the United States. Mom and pops do this instantaneously without any fanfare. Large public companies have to say it. Wall Street has to bear it and has to go with it as well. They don't want to, but they have to. We haven't hit the bottom yet. And so these earnings reactions we're getting right now, these little relief rallies, these little, this stock is doing really well because they broke their, they made more money than we thought they were going to make, or they didn't lose as much. This is a temporary respite in a continual down market. We're going lower. We're overpriced. It's as simple as that. The higher the S&P wants to go, the higher the PE multiples are for the entire index. It's too high. We're going to raise interest rates on November 2nd and 3rd. It is going to happen. That is 14 days from now, 2 weeks from now, Tuesday, up goes the interest rates in the United States. The entire world will hiccup over it as well, because when the Fed raises rates, everybody raises rates. There could be 20 Federal Reserves around the world, 20 other countries, all in lockstep, will raise their interest rates the same day the Fed raises theirs. 2 weeks from today, count on it. Bet on it. It's going to happen. Then there's the next question. What about January? Because there probably won't be a Fed meeting in December, but what about January, February? The question then, is it a quarter point? Is it a half a point? Is it 3/4 of a point? Well, let's find out how bad the numbers are or how good the numbers are through Christmas. The Fed would like to see lower economic activity. That means lower earnings across the board everywhere. Lower sales, lower earnings. That means fewer profits, lower profits. And that means multiples will be adjusted. We're too high. We're too high for what's coming. And that's the end of it. Speech Boy. Handelsblatt publishes that the German authorities raided Deutsche Bank today. Interesting. Nick, I closed my short on LFG for a loss of $270. I can make it somewhere else. It's just too much computer buying going on in this stock. DQ, I am number 87, but I'm lurking. Michael, a good question. You just can't move the goalposts and say the field goal was good. Exactly right. Alberto is here. Uncle, I'm here. You can begin now. Carpet puller, please pull harder and faster. Thanks, Coyote. Right on, Alberto. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you here. Hope you're well. We'll see how it all plays itself out. Yeah, I am pretty sure that these markets will reflect the new reality of earnings. The problem is the markets don't know the new reality of the earnings yet. They haven't been given enough guidance. Or let's put it this way, a lot of market participants don't want to hear news that's bad news. You just don't want to hear it. And certain firms are not very eagerly sharing the ugly news out there to their followers for whatever reason they want to play this game. I think it's at their peril myself. But I wouldn't be surprised if Apple and Microsoft and others have a down quarter coming up now that we'll hear about it. The fourth quarter will be worse than last year's. The first quarter will be worse than the one before that. And we will see earnings numbers lower and lower and lower and lower coming through for these companies, which means that their PE multiples will be higher unless the stocks back off. The stocks will back off and the earnings multiples will stay in this range, but they're too high. We can't keep them here. It's just that simple. It's nothing personal. It's business. Apple's at 23.6 times earnings right now. It's too high. It should be 17, 16, something like that. It's too high. Tesla's PE multiple, 73.8. How much money do you think Tesla made last quarter? You think that they set all-time records for profits? I don't think they did. I think they had higher costs. I think they had all kinds of higher expenses they had to go through. Amazon is trading at 98 times earnings. What? They're going to show a 400% increase in earnings this last quarter? That didn't happen. The stock's too high. It's 115 a share. It's going under 100. I keep saying that. What else we got here? Like HPQ, here's a winner. HPQ is sitting at 4.5 times earnings. It's too low. So despite home computer sales not being strong and all that, HPQ at 4.5, I don't care if they miss their mark by a mile. This is still too low. So yeah, I think this stock will rise higher. Taking a look at some of our other favorites. Pfizer is trading at 8.5. That's too low. Boeing is not making profits right now. So, 136, it's all on optimism and future potential. Cisco, 14.75, good price. Around this 15 PE multiple range, fair pricing. Home Depot is at 17.4, not too overpriced, not too much. Let's see, what else we got? IBM is at 20, might be a tad high. Maybe 18 would be a little more reasonable, but it's not that far off the mark. Microsoft 24.6, too high. That's six PE multiples too much. That's too much. It's too high a share. Has to back off. They either have to make more earnings per share or they have to have a lower stock price. I think they're going to have a lower stock price. I think that's what's going to end up with it. They're going to have lower earnings, which means they need a lower stock price to get under 20 PE, and I don't know if they're even going to get under 20 PE yet, but they're at 26 now, and that's too much. Goldman Sachs, 7 times earnings, I've said for 2 years now, a year and a half. That's too low. Google is trading at 18.6, fair price. That's fair price. Meta Platforms, 10.6. The reason it's only 10 is because the street expects lower earnings each and every quarter for the next year on Meta. And so they're thinking ahead that they're trading at 15 times next year. That's their thing. So they're figuring, okay, Meta might have already made the move. Let's see, what else have we got here? Other outfits. Target Corporation, 17 times earnings. That's accurate. JP Morgan, 10 times earnings. A little low, but not too low, but a little. Costco, 35 times earnings. That's double the price it should be. This stock should be $235. It is too expensive. Walmart is trading at 26 times earnings. No way. Walmart's margins are shrinking right now. That's not accurate. That's too high. The stock's too high. Let's take a look at some others. Nvidia, 31.8 times earnings, and they're slipping in earnings. Disney showing 54 times earnings right now. A little rich. What else we got here? Netflix showing 20 times earnings. Just a tad too high. Just a little too much. There's some of the numbers right there just to give you a handle on PE multiples of what's going on out there. I'm not talking about grossly overpriced. I mean, yeah, Amazon at 90 times earnings, okay. That's one definite. Tesla, but these two companies are historically have been growing their earnings dramatically, but I don't think it's happening right now in either case. So these two are going to take a hit. They have already. They will take more. But these markets are too high. There you are. And if we do get deterioration, sales deterioration, margin deterioration because of higher inflation, interest costs, lower sales coming, changing habits of buyers, people buying generic product at grocery stores, not buying the brand name product at grocery stores. This will impact Johnson and Johnson. It'll in General Foods, all these major conglomerates with all the food brands. They will take a hit because they survive out of our product loyalty. That will pay more for the box of their stuff than for the generic stuff. That is still to come. Alberto, I'm recuperating from my Georgia trip. I'm no youngster any longer. Hallow Smith, I am number 95. Miraculous, I'm number 91. Michael, I think the savings grace from Microsoft and similar companies is a recurring billing they receive. Let's see, Alberto, except for SoFi holding and ready to take off. Larry, hi all, I'm number 96. Hawkeye was thinking I'm number 96. One of you is right, one of you is wrong. We have 97 thumbs ups in the house, so it's looking good. We're coming to 100 thumbs ups right now with 30 minutes left in the day. Down 265 on oil. There's your tip off right there. If oil is not up $3 a barrel today because of increased economic activity expectations, this market can't keep going, and we're down 260 a barrel while the market is up today. Not going to happen. Not going to work. Pulse Guitar, I'm number 97, and I'm in the house. Right on, right on. Thank you. Mirko, I'm number 98, Bruce. You're coming up to 100 thumbs ups right here, right now, live on the air in front of the world. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hello, world. How you doing? Nice to have you here. 98 thumbs ups are in the house. Look at that. 2 away from 100. Thank you all very, very much. Yeah, S&P up 33. NASDAQ just around 70 points higher. 0.65 on NASDAQ. So it has improved a bit on a bit of a buying wave here. Yeah, not too excited. This market's going to take a big shot at the end of the day. I think we've had a nice little run here. Profit taking has been started. More will come into this market. People will take some money off the table. My hunch, anyway. Thumbs away, Bobby. Karen 98, Bobby 99. Thank you all so much. I see 105 thumbs ups on the meter now. You guys are awesome, getting me to 100 thumbs ups in the afternoon. And now let's just add to it if we can. Compound it. Thank you all. 313-point gain at the moment here in the Dow Jones neighborhood. 1.03%. The markets are now all up, or two of them are up 1%, and NASDAQ up 0.76. There's a little buy wave coming through. The question is, how much oomph has it got behind it? GameStop is 26.54. That's up 58 cents on the day. Apple up 85 cents. Tesla up 71 cents. Amazon up 251. SoFi up 19 to 526. That's where we're at the moment. HPQ down 11 cents right now on this market. Thank you all for your support of the channel. It is much appreciated. We're noticing lately that the Russians are utilizing these Iranian drones. They are targeting them through satellite technology to land and destroy water and power infrastructure systems throughout Ukraine to make it very difficult for Ukrainians to survive through the winter with basic utility needs. The question is, how many do they have to launch? How many are they getting per month from the Iranians? And can the Ukrainians develop a better air defense system to fight against these drones that just have a suicide mission in mind? They fly right into the target, and that's it. It's a one-time mission. Apparently, a number of them have been shot down, but a number of them are making it through, and hundreds have been launched. It makes you wonder how many thousands have the Iranians built, and how many thousands of the Iranians are going to keep delivering to the Russians going forward. And then, of course, if you are a neighbor of Iran, you can't be feeling pretty good about this. You're watching what the Russians are doing with these things. Can you imagine the folks all around Iran knowing that these units can fly a couple hundred miles, and they're just propeller-driven glider-type bombs? That's all they are, and They're cheap and they're clunky, but we put enough of them in the air at the same time, they're effective. And so see how that works. I've seen this before, by the way. I have seen, the kind of drone we're talking about here where they fly for a while and then they just land and blow up. Back in the 40s, the Nazis were using these rocket drones over London, England, and they would just launch them. And they knew that after they flew for 40 minutes, they'd run out of fuel, and then they would just fall wherever they fell. They weren't they weren't able to target them at that time. They just decided that it would be in effect a weapon of terror to just you could hear the thing going doo, 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 and then no sound whatsoever. And then about a minute later, a bomb would go off because you have no idea where it's going to land and what it's going to hit. The Nazis lost that war, by the way. Just to remind everybody, there was a huge blitzkrieg against London for several months, where every bomber was available to just bomb London into submission. It didn't work. The Londoners were pretty steadfast in their resolve, and the Germans eventually ran out of planes, ran out of these rocket drones, and they were getting defeated on the ground. And does that sound familiar? The Russians are getting defeated on the ground. The skies are not in Russia's complete dominance. And the only reason the Russians are allowed to do what they're doing is because the NATO countries, the USA and others, have not yet allowed Ukraine to have the anti-weaponry systems, the anti-air systems that exist that could take these guys out of here. They could also, in effect, launch missiles into where the drones are coming from, which is likely Russian territory and Belarus. But the Ukrainians have been forbidden to fire outside of their border areas. And so if you're fighting with one arm tied behind your back, you're going to have to tolerate this nuisance of these drones coming from the sky. That's this man's opinion as I see it. The ground offensive continues, and the Russians are getting their butts handed to them because they are completely disorganized. They are losing more weaponry every day, every week. It's stunning. There are more weapons in the hands of Ukrainian fighters now that are Russian weapons that they've captured than all the weapons they've been given by NATO and everybody else. All the allies who've given them weapons, there's a bunch of that, but there's way, way more weaponry in the hands of Ukrainians because they've captured weapons from the retreating Russians. It's incredible. If they can keep up this pace of overrunning the Russians, they won't need much weaponry as far as conventional weaponry goes. They'll just take it from the Russians as the Russians run away and hide. It's absolutely stunning what's going on over there. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. I don't know. Christina, I closed my puts. It was touch and go there for a bit. I had 60. I made 11 cents each. Gain is a gain, says Michael. V1 rockets in the Second World War, exactly. Zeta State, Uncle Bruce, I'm trying to do a covered call on Google. My first step is to purchase the LEAP contract. I'm looking at an $80 strike, but I can't find the 10% rule deal. This is, again, the trick to being a successful poor man covered call writer. You have to be a very patient and very focused individual. You've got to find your call contract, the deep in the money call, under that 90-10 guideline rule. You've got to stick to that, and you cannot waver. And you've got to be patient and wait until you find one. And there are times where the stock's movement will put you into the range. Other times, the options movement will put you into the range. Open up the entire option book and look forward into late 2023, 2024, 2025, and see what you can find where you can find it. Do not be dissuaded. Don't lose your focus. Just take your time to find what it is you're after. Find that contract. When the price is right, you put your stink bid in. When you get it, then you're right. That's it. It's not a 8-second solution story here. It's not quite that simple. Sell my house fast enough for Marlboro. Speaking of sending weapons to Ukraine, where are all the weapons from Europe? Why is the U.S. supplying all the weapons? Just like the UN, the states pay for everything. Actually, that's not true. The U.S. has supplied the lion's share. That's true. But the Brits, the Germans, the Poles have supplied a ton. Also, Latvian countries have supplied. Canada has supplied what it can. Most of these other countries have done a lot of logistical supplies as well. A lot of uniforms, boots, communications devices, and on and on and on. I mean, there's the howitzers and the munitions, and then there's everything else to feed these guys and for medical help and medical tents and surgical supplies and on and on it goes. It is a big operation. And sell my house fast. I understand what you're hearing from the administration and you're hearing from the Pentagon, and it sounds like it's a one-party game. It's not true. All right, Bobby. Canadians gave binoculars like Ralph from The Simpsons. I'm helping. Alex, sell my house. There are plenty of weapons coming from the UK. Ukrainian soldiers are coming to the UK for training. That's right. They're also going to Poland for training. They're in Latvia for training, Lithuania for training. They're learning all these other weapon systems. Norway, Sweden is helping out. It's an effort. The U.S. has supplied more than twice what every country supplied. Probably has. In dollars, yes, no question. Dollars, America's number one. But then, of course, America is the largest military country in the world by far. America spends more money on weaponry than the next 5 countries combined, and has for decades. And so, yeah, America has more it can offer, and America has a strategic interest in Europe that it wants to see intact. And so, Ukraine will be looked after. That's that. And way to go. Thank you, America, and everyone else contributing in. The Dow is up 327 points right now. S&P is up 39, NASDAQ up 85, and we have 19 minutes left in our session, and we are done for the day. Tesla's up only 77 cents. Make it 81. Apple up 77. And GameStop is at 26.44, up 47 cents. This day is turning into a nothing burger for movement on GameStop shares. 523 on SoFi, up 16 cents. We're down 14 on HPQ. All right. DH Ruda, Bruce, I am thumbs up 116 for you today. Thank you, all of you, for 16 thumbs ups, over 100. This is awesome stuff. Keep them coming in if you can. Boy, this would be great. We want to get deep into the 3 figures. I thank you, folks. This is fabulous. The thumbs ups matter. Lockheed's earnings were fine. Shareholders loved its buyback plan, says Barron's. This to me is the one thing that I am disappointed in when I see a headline like this. I'm happy to see Lockheed making lots of money. This is great. But I'm disappointed when they promote the fact that we're going to buy back a bunch of our stock. This is not what I want to see. I would rather see this company throw those extra $1 billion into jobs in the United States. I would like to see them expand their production, to enhance their production, to become, even more diverse as a supplier and producer of whatever it is they're making, which a lot of it, as we know, is military. But they're making so many gobs of dollars, because they have these bid contracts that they are expert at winning, that have incredible profits to these corporations. They're literally handing the money to the market, in effect saying, we don't know what to do with the money to grow our company, so we'll just buy our stock back. And then you folks take that money that we're giving you, because we'll take these shares and retire them, and take that money and invest it in another company. That's what they're saying. Maybe it's time for Lockheed to get a new board of directors. Maybe they need new management and new leadership, or they need a different direction with which to go corporately, because Lockheed is not doing the country of the United States a huge favor. The United States taxpayer is doing a huge favor to Lockheed. They're giving them juicy military contracts that are obviously so good that the company can afford to just buy back its stock and not invest in itself. Now, they might argue, oh, but Bruce, we do invest in ourselves. This is after all the reinvesting we're doing and all the research we're doing. We still have all this money left over. I say, why don't you hand it to your shareholders in the form of a special dividend then? If you've got $2 billion lying around that you don't know what to do with, why don't you just give a $2 billion special dividend to your shareholders as a reward for being an investor in a really successful company? But you're not going to do that. You're going to take the easy way out. And I get it. You're going to buy the stock back while you have it going on, while the dough is coming through the front door. But if you have a bad year a couple of years from now, you'll cut back on the buybacks because you're not obligated to buy the stock back. You're only indicating you're going to buy the stock back. There's no promise you're going to do it. And in effect, you're just saying you're talking the talk, but you might not walk the walk. But the cash, nonetheless, is sitting in the coffers. I am certain that the top 1% level of Lockheed Martin's employee list are incredibly well paid, godly overpaid, incredibly overpaid, phenomenally overpaid, richly paid, and most of it is deserved. Great. But there are a whole bunch of new jobs you guys could be creating or investing in other entities that you could take stakes in to get America going. There's so much potential in America that you're not part of because you're in your little world and it's a closed shop with your bids and all that stuff. I get it. Hey, you're doing what you're doing, but dollars are just going into the market and they're not creating more wealth. Spreading existing wealth. Okay. Anyway, it's just me, an old man, ranting. When Apple throws $90 billion into its own stock rather than create American jobs, I go, what kind of an American company is this? $90 billion a year. They're not paying $90 billion in taxes on their overseas income. They're keeping it overseas and they're using it to buy stock. They're not creating more jobs in America. They could create far more jobs. They are completely addicted to the Chinese worker through these contractors, completely addicted to Chinese workers. Xi Jinping, whatever his name is, made a speech yesterday that was so anti-American, so anti-Western, so anti-democratic country. And Apple makes 90% of all their revenues from the backs of Chinese laborers. And I'm kind of going, how American are you really? I mean, really, it's wild. Why aren't these plants in Mexico? Why aren't these plants in Guatemala? Why aren't they in Latin America countries where a zillion folks could get work and they wouldn't have to come to America to find work? Why not help there? Why not be there doing that? Create so much opportunity for employment in countries that are costing America dearly in resources, and it's a political nightmare. How many Guatemalans and other countries people from other countries would love to stay in their country if only they could find a job that pays some kind of a decent wage? Apple can do that. Lockheed Martin can do that. Microsoft can do that. It goes on and on. The clothing manufacturers and the furniture guys and on. It's endless. There is no uniform strategic plan led by any administration. I mean, any administration ever that really has taken this by the horns and said, look, why don't we create 5 million manufacturing type jobs, 10 million, 15 million, 20 million type manufacturing jobs in Latin America, our neighbors, rather than over in China? I mean, what good are those guys doing us? Are they helping us with the Taiwanese situation? No. Are they creating all kinds of problems for South Korea and Japan and other countries over there? Yeah. They're building islands in the South China Sea and putting military bases on it. What do you think that's for? Sightseeing? Fishing? No, it's for territorial expansion. It's where you launch ICBM's missiles from. It's all there. Anyone can see it if you're old enough to understand what's going on here. It's a slow motion train wreck that is happening. Why not have your neighbors, who could be your best pals, like Canada and Mexico? Why not have these countries create jobs there for folks who keep coming illegally into your country. I mean, it's so simple, and it's just impossible to convince some people of this area. I don't know. Common sense just doesn't rule. South America itself, Venezuela, what a basket case. Argentina can always use help. Colombia, Bolivia, and on go the country. I mean, all of them down there. There could be so much investment made there for their higher standard of living, to share with our standard of living. It's phenomenal. I don't know. I guess I just love ranting, I guess. And in case of military investments, my Polish brothers are at least our European shield, the only country that is spending 2% while Germany has problems to reach 1%. Mirko, they do buybacks. The C-suite makes big money. Michael, also Poland is also likely number one in humanitarian aid to Ukraine. How many millions of Ukrainians have gone to these countries for shelter? Germany has taken them in. Poland, the Latvian countries have taken them in. Finland, Sweden, Norway. America's not taking them in. America's providing bullets, but they're not taking them in like these countries are taking them in. I agree with that. I don't know how it's looking that way, but I was spending 20 euros through a pets rescue company in Poland that is helping the lost pets in Ukraine. I think we reached over $1 million. There's so much going on over there. Mirko Splair, you are right percentage-wise, but in real money, 1% of Germany's BIP is probably 5 times more than 2%. Splair, the question is, how big is the BIP? Matthew, Uncle Bruce, I briefly heard what you were saying about PE multiples. Did you say the 20 is a good multiple to have? Under 20. Under. Splair, but we are there very good at spending EU money. My hometown, 45,000 people, was receiving some years ago a shopping mall for around 30, 40 shops. Big difference is that a lot of the products that we produce are cheap when you have a different currency as income. Mirko, Polish BIP 2021, 676 billion, German 3.2 trillion. Absolutely. There are countries in Europe. Germany is the number one country in Europe. It's the big dog, no question about it. There's France, there's Italy, Spain, and then there are and many others. But it's a huge economy. But the European economy has kicked in a lot of hidden dollars to the Ukraine cause, and you can't measure it with bullets and missiles and howitzers. It's everything else on top of that, plus 8 million refugees, 10 million refugees that need to be fed and housed. Can you imagine America allowing in 1 million Ukrainians a year for the next 5 years? I can't imagine it. I couldn't possibly imagine America doing that. I can see Canada bringing in 200,000 a year. We're probably bringing in 100,000 now. We're 1/10 the size of America in population. It's not happening down south. Americans send bullets and dollars. Other countries send humanitarian aid. It all works out in the end, though. The cause is the cause. Okay, there's a difference, says Blair. Michael, that's what I meant with the humanitarian aid. There you go. 8 minutes to go, everybody. Not trying to pick a fight with anybody. I'm just saying the obvious. There's when there's a war going on, it's a complete problem. It's a problem from A to Z. And just think of the psychological issues that are going to have to be dealt with now for the next 50 years. Not only for the Russians who are, who some of these guys who are returning back home are shell-shocked and a mess. What about the Ukrainians who survived? Who got out and are coming back to bombed out villages and homes and towns and cities. How many relatives of Ukrainians have been affected by this badly? You can imagine. This is going to be a huge humanitarian issue for decades to come. And it's been, 7 months? 7 months. Unbelievable. Yeah. And Putin is still just doing what he's doing. And the Chinese support this guy, and the Iranians are supporting this guy. Who are your friends? Really? In Iran, a woman can get killed for showing off a lock of hair. Really? This is the world we're in 2022? This is it? That's the whole plan. The whole plan. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable to me. Splair, in that case, Poland is connected with Ukraine. Mostly a grandmother's grandmother was, for example, Ukrainian, so it's affecting Polish citizens. Brian, oil down $2.30 a barrel, $2.34 right now. 7 minutes to go. 313 gain on the Dow, 1.04%, 1.06 for S&P, and 0.82 on NASDAQ right at the moment. Apple, Barron's headline, Apple stock slips on a report. iPhone 14 Plus production was cut on weak demand. That is the headline that apparently affected Apple stock this afternoon and affected the entire market for a while. So there you have it. Amazon workers vote against unionizing at an upstate New York warehouse. That's another vote there. Salesforce and American Express are leading the Dow higher today. 10-year Treasury yields slip from 14-year highs as markets relax after UK government's budget deal. This is temporary. This is all going to end 2 weeks from today. Turmoil in the markets between now and then. Watch out with the new Fed funds rate. Brian, I'm 24 minutes behind. Bruce, your voice sounds better when it's higher pitched. Neat. Mirko, Poland took in a lot of Ukrainian refugees, and Germany also about 1 million. I myself rented out an apartment to one Ukrainian woman and with her mother and 2 children in the city we live, and the city is paying for it, and the city we live in is paying for this. Very interesting. Blair, and we have the World War view here. In school, you learn how Germans and Russians were surprising Poland, so the mindset is already different. That's right. Michael, well done, Mirko. Splair, damn, that deserves respect. Can you imagine the city of Cincinnati paying for 1,000 apartments for 1,000 Ukrainian families to stay in? Can you imagine the city of Pittsburgh doing that? The city of Detroit, the city of Buffalo, the city of Akron, Ohio, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Can you imagine anywhere in Texas this being done? Florida. Good luck. Good luck with that one. I don't think so. In Canada, we have church groups and volunteer organizations, all kinds of money being raised for Ukrainian needs. And the Prime Minister of Canada has indicated that any refugee from Ukraine that wants in can get in. There's no limit. We don't have a limit in Canada. It's limitless. All Ukrainians are welcome in Canada right now. That's the difference. And, it is what it is. Each country does its own thing, and away you go. It's all right. Am I happy personally that the Americans are supplying weaponry to Ukraine? Oh, yeah, I sure am. Is it making a huge difference? Darn right it is. Yeah, I'm really proud of that. I'm really respectful of that. But I understand the limitations that Biden has and the Congress has to assist much more than that. Politically, in the U.S. right now, an immigrant coming into the United States right now? Are you kidding me? There is no policy. The United States doesn't have an immigration policy of any serious note. It's been so gutted in the last number of years. Who knows when there will be a solution? And if the Republicans get control of the Congress or the Senate in this election, you can forget about any kind of immigration, anything for anybody. I mean, that is off the table. So, it's going to be tough. Coyote, oh, by the way, Bloomberg analyst said we hit capitulation about 100 times today before the market, the Apple news broke. Laugh out loud. How about that? Jim Stevens, St. Paul, Minneapolis, maybe. Splair, you mentioned Detroit. Was it a joke? Brian, what is capitulation? Capital capitulation? Boo. Retail selling their stocks. Michael surrendering. Mirko, thanks, guys. But if you're honest, there is absolutely no risk for me because the city pays for everything and they pay up front in full. So I have no worries at all. It's all good. DQ, verb of capitulate, cease to resist an opponent or an unwelcome demand or surrender. Nick, the problem of giving to the charities is how much of the dollars donated actually go to the needy. There's another problem. Most of the money gets siphoned to paying the charity CEO and their administrative costs. There's another problem. 2 minutes to go, and we're done here. The Dow is still up 297 at the moment. Amazon up 231. Tesla up 41 cents. Apple's up 99 cents. GameStop is up 62 at 26.58. SoFi up 17 cents. DQ, maybe they were saying a cat capitulated. It's a roaring kitty reference. GameStop to the moon, Mirko, and she is an English and math teacher. If her German is improved, she could easily work in a school in Germany and pay for it herself. And that's the thing about Ukrainian immigrants. a lot of them come to Canada and they immediately find the ability to find work, no problem at all. The Ukrainian communities, Canada, is huge. There are more Ukrainians living in Canada than almost any other country in the world. Did you know that? We love Ukrainian food up here. Byron, Nick, I agree. If you're going to donate to any charities, please do so. Do your due diligence. Some of these charities give very, very small percentages to their cause. BW, Uncle Bruce, been offline for a while. How close is the USA going down the road following Greece going bankrupt or defaulting on 31 trillion in debt? Not even close. Not even on the highway. No, nowhere near. No. Many other countries would go broke before the Americans go broke. Many others. Michael, not the U.S. No. Huge UKR population in the Ukrainian population in New York, right? Karen, it depends on the charity. They vary. That's true. I agree. We have a minute to go, kids, and we're just about done here. I'm showing now a 358 gain, a late surge in buying coming in, a little buy wave. GameStop at 26.63. Larry has done us the favor to put an end to the suffering, although it wasn't that bad a day, was it? 500-point gain yesterday, 343 today. Not as good as yesterday. Interesting. It was better. It was better this morning. 600 plus point gain this morning. Couldn't hold it. Now we're at 343. So, well, we'll see how it runs tomorrow. Oil down 231. There is a sign right there. This isn't going to last. DQ. Thank you, Larry. JR, Dems the bells, Larry. Matthew, with earnings coming out, do you know when PE multiples get updated? Always, constantly. You look at a stock quote, your PE multiple is current to the price of the stock right now. Your PE multiples change in 1/100ths of a percentage point every trade, every day in trading. And then, of course, once the earnings come out officially, then they update the PE multiple within about 24 hours. And then it varies depending on the price of the stock. Splair, Bruce, you make me think more and more to choose once Vancouver is a place for me to be for a while. But first, I'll visit that place hopefully next year. You'll like Vancouver. It's beautiful. Summertime, it's gorgeous, sunny and lush and phenomenal. The wintertime, it's a little wet. Vancouver, like Seattle, it gets a little wet over the wintertime. But in the late spring and summer and fall, unbeatable, really phenomenal. Vancouver Island, you'd like that. Victoria and Vancouver, you'd like that too. Spectacular geography and wonderful people, and just a super kind of a place. You'd like Calgary. You're young enough. You'd really like Calgary. This is a young city here, but you'll really get a kick out of Vancouver, definitely. All of Canada you'll enjoy all of Canada if you get the chance. You won't be able to see it all. It's too big. Even if you took a year, you'd not be able to see the entire country. There's so much to see. But hey, 5,000 miles from coast to coast. Come on up sometime and see us. Thank you all for being here with me today, hanging out with yours truly. Not a bad day. 26.66 on GameStop. Okay, it's up 70 cents. Did a lot of you have to do rollovers? Probably not. Let's see how the market works for us tomorrow. Zed in Vancouver, your top on the BMW is open in October. That's how nice it is here. And your political decisions are stuff I can understand and like it mostly. That the city is really amazing. I watch already documentations. I want to see it for sure. Brian, Zed, but you are holding an umbrella. Well, if you're not fast enough with the top, if you get a shower coming through, but yeah, right now in October, it's gorgeous in BC right now. It's beautiful, warmer than here, and still dry. Fantastic. Nick, Uncle Bruce, Netflix came out with earnings. Netflix has come out with earnings. Rock and roll. Netflix is going to talk. We'll see how they do here on good old Netflix. There they are right there. 262 last trade, up $21. Must have been good, huh? I think they cut a lot of spending, and I think the thing is that they were trying to regrow their subscriber counts. NFLX. I got to learn how to type in the symbol F. NFL Bruce. There it is. Netflix trading the after hours 265 last trade on 575,000, up $24 a share at the moment. We'll see if that holds. Let's take a look. And we'll take a peek over here. Third quarter financial results have been released. And they've released it to their website, and they're not telling us what they are. They just saying that they've released their financials, but they're not telling us what their financials are. Okay, and then they're asking us to go to their investor relations site and go there, and can't find it. Really coming up event, who knows? Okay, well, there's an early move on it. Somebody must have something on it, I suppose, on Netflix. Stock right now, 266, up $25. Okay, right on. What else? Let's see. Thank you, Nick, for that. Yeah, Brian, it's up like 9%. BW, okay, that's good, but that's living way out over our skis for the USA. Then how do we get that paid down? Re-ending spending, term limits, maybe. Your deficits are completely negotiable and handleable. You guys don't have a deficit problem. You're all afraid of the $31 trillion number. I remember when the deficit was $2 trillion and people thought, we'll never be able to pay that back. You're never going to pay it back. You're never going to pay it back. You're going to roll it over. You're just going to roll the debt over. Inflation is actually your friend when it comes to government deficits. The deficits you're dealing with now are from the 1990s to today. And the deficits you had in the 90s are laughable compared to what they are now. And I don't know if you're ever going to see the day where deficits stay under $1 trillion a year anymore. I don't know if that will ever happen again, because with now 8% inflation, next year 8 or 10% more inflation, that is going to shrink the old deficits down to pennies on the current dollar. I just don't see it ending. Let's see what else is going on. WD, how much do you like the 149, 150 call spread on Apple for Friday? No, I don't like it. I'm not too interested in that. Nick, I am short, and Netflix will be adding more short tomorrow morning. Right on. 268 is where the stock is now on Netflix, by the way. Deuce Caboose, how did we do? A number 131 thumbs ups. Thank you, everybody. That's exactly how many we have. 131. There we go. 268 last trade now on Netflix, and I don't really know what the actual numbers are for Netflix. I'm curious whether anything had been set. On earnings beat, here we go. Netflix stock up 10% on earnings beat, subscriber growth that exceeds targets. Netflix added twice as many new subscribers as expected. The news is coming out now on the Wall Street Journal. They added 2.4 million new subscribers, reversing a trend. And let's see. Company added 2.4 million new subscribers September quarter. They were thinking of adding 1 million. We believe we're on a path to reaccelerate growth. They added members in each region in which it reports results, gaining about 100,000 new customers in the U.S. and Canada, with its strongest growth coming from Asia, where it added 1.3 million new subscribers during the quarter. Its customer base in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa grew larger than the U.S. and Canada in the period. Still smaller numbers, though, than a year earlier, a company attracted 4.4 million customers a year ago. And they're hoping to add 4.5 million in the final quarter compared to 8.3 million last year. So here's another company that is delivering on lower expected results. I hope you get all that. This is the new game in town in Wall Street. Lower expectations and beat them, and then the stock will go up. You never sell the stock. I would not buy the stock at $270 a share. I would be getting out of this stock at $270 a share, because you are adding more than you thought you were, but you're only at half where you were a year ago. And you're projecting half next quarter from a year ago. You're going to stay down here on the per share basis. You're not going higher per share. You're going to stay down here between 200 and 250 a share. That's my opinion on it. But, what can I say? They're going into this new thing called the, this new 699 ad thing. I think it's going to decimate their paid for subscriptions. I think with the economy going into a tailspin and a recession, a lot of people are going to kill their Netflix membership for $15 a month, $18 a month, whatever they're paying, and they're going to get the $6.99 deal. That's where I see this heading. They're going to cannibalize themselves. Where are you going to get 5 million new subscribers from, 10 million new subscribers, 20 million new subscribers for $6.99 a month? There aren't any more. You got them all. They're going to be cannibalizing themselves. That's just me, though. What do I know? Their operating margin fell to 19.3% from 23%. This is also going to devastate their future earnings potential. This is a company that is still shrinking, and the stock is reacting with a Yahoo moment. Not going to last. Smart money right now is shorting this stuff. Nick, short this stuff at 269.70 immediately. Take your position. Deep value investing. It's dangerous to short high institutional ownership stocks like Netflix. Short it. Don't even listen to that. Short it. Lame Duck, 134 thumbs up. Thank you, everybody. Checking in to give Bruce a like. Thank you, Brandon. Later Gators from JR, 139 thumbs up. Susan Shops about. Thank you, Nick. That is right. Uncle Bruce, sell Netflix. Deuce Caboose, SoFi, 525. I'll take that. What else is going on? Brandon, laugh out loud. I walk in a Netflix chat. I just canceled it yesterday, but kept my Bruce membership. Rock and roll. Michael, if they go forward with ads, I'll definitely be canceling. Deep value. I was buying Netflix membership when they used to only send in DVDs to your home. Brian, Michael, they are making the one with ads as a new subscription, and it's dirt cheap from what I understand. And the analysts are kicking the can down the road. I agree. I tell you, this stock is going to go lower than higher in the long run. But, after hours, you can manipulate stock all you want with very little volume. So there's a million traded. We're at 171. This is a short. This is going back to 150 and lower, 250 and lower for sure. Maybe not in the next 20 minutes, but overall it is. And if you can play this market in the after hours, knock yourself out. All righty. Thank you, everybody. Let's see. Deuce Caboose says, I don't care how much they increase the monthly cost. As long as my mother-in-law keeps paying for it, I'm a happy guy. Splayer, maybe the idea is the young ones who already have $8.99 for Disney, $7.99 for Prime can pay Netflix as well as the same time for only $22, $23 on total. Yeah, there's that hope. These streaming outfits, they think that there's an unlimited stream of suckers like us that will now pay $200 a month for our television packages. They figure we're so gullible that we'll just pay for this stuff. There is a point of no return, and there is a point of saturation. And I can see that in this economy we're in right now, I see mothers having to decide what to keep and what to dump. And I can see the kids getting Disney, but the adults will dump Netflix. I see that. It'll be a $6.99 Netflix or nothing. That might be it too. In any event, there it is. Peace, Bruce, from Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. We'll see how it all works out. All right, kids, that's it for me, the ranting Canadian. I'm done. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great night. Stay healthy out there. Go out and get your booster shot while you can. They're free. Get them. I'll see you tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning. Tomorrow's Wednesday, isn't it? So tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, prime time. These people right here, Gold Bagel members, join me tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time for Prime Time with Uncle Bruce. We'll be on tomorrow 4 times. I'll do 4 live shows for you guys tomorrow. 4 live shows. 2 just for Gold Bagel members. That's why you want to become a Gold Bagel member of this channel. Thank you all for doing this already. Thank you for those of you who are renewing your memberships every month. Thank you all so much. I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful night and take care. And we'll see you first thing in the morning. Bye for now.